Hey gang, not sure how to orient this phone. I have difficulty when I can't see myself and I'm looking at the back side of the phone. But what I want to do is show you my little routine for making oatmeal. And I'm hopeful that Susie will be able to eat this. And I have taken it and shown it to the dietitian, but I found out that it's not the dietitian, it's the speech therapist that needs to really evaluate texture and that kind of thing. So I'll show you what I do. So for about the last 6 or so months, I've been making oatmeal simply by putting hot tap water in with oats. Right now this is about 2 cups of oats, and the relationship or the ratio typically is 2 parts water to 1 part oats. So this would take about 4 cups of total water. But what I do is I reduce the water down to about 3.5 cups and adjust consistency once it's been sitting for a while. And then this is my container of oatmeal out of the fridge, and it has a live sourdough culture. And I don't know if you can see it, but you see the bubbles? That is the fermentation process happening. There's a few little bubbles. Anyway, it gives it a lighter texture. It does have a little teeny bit of a tang, not a whole lot. It has a very smooth, much more smooth consistency as opposed to kind of a sticky, gummy consistency. And in my oatmeal, which I heat up in the microwave, I add some chopped figs, half a banana, and a handful of walnuts. So that's kind of my routine. And what's kind of evolved out of this, the challenge for me in the sourdough bread baking thing, is before Susie went in the hospital, I was baking bread about every 2 weeks, and I'd give some to my neighbor Pietro, and sometimes I'd take some to my Uncle Jerry, who lives in Saratoga. So I haven't done any bread baking in probably about a month. And so now I am using the oatmeal culture as my sourdough starter. The challenge with sourdough starter, in order to keep it fresh and alive, you're always taking out some portion of the starter and adding water and flour. And the reason you're taking a portion out is you want to keep the ratio of water, starter, and flour relatively even. So the more starter you have, the more flour and water you need to add, which means you have a lot of what they call discard. And there are a bunch of recipes for discard, but we weren't, I tried them. I think the thing I liked the best was there was a discard recipe for pizza dough, and tried that a couple times, but I wound up throwing a lot of discard away just because it was filling my refrigerator. It's a separate container for it. And I wouldn't throw it down the drain because that can clog your drain. I would put it in my compost. So at least it went to some good use, but it was a waste of food, which I don't like to do. Anyway, that's how I make oatmeal. I put the hot water in. I let it sit for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, until it's cooled down. Tap water, I think, is around 130 degrees Fahrenheit. I want it down below 100, so about in the 90s. And at that time, I'll add it a little bit at a time to the existing oatmeal culture and stir it in. And then I just leave the whole business on the counter for about 2 hours and pop it in the fridge. So that's my crazy way of making oatmeal. See you guys.